problems. The ones most people don't have the stomach for. The ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. The ones that can't be solved. We go looking for them in Kingston, Bainbridge, Poulsbo, Port Orchard, and all across Kitsap County. We find every dollar we can to address them. But we are more than fundraisers. We are the hand raisers, the game changers, the stop talking, start doing, band together and take on the impossible taskmasters. United, we achieve health for people who've had limited or no access to health care in our communities. United, we provide housing for our neighbors forced to sleep in cars or on the street. United, we build a bright future for Kitsap youth, opening a path to college and vocational school, because hope isn't a one-man band, and there's no such thing as self-taught or self-made.
It's vitally important that we increase the completion rates and close the opportunity gaps. With 70% of the jobs in the future predicted to require some type of post-secondary education, yet only a third of the adults in this state have a certification beyond high school, that there's a big gap. It's, I believe, of crisis proportion.
To satisfy those gaps and those needs is important to me. To have kids graduate, and then having a culture of education is so important to me. The children are going to go to school.
This is called a collective impact, and it's recognizing again that the college and K-12 cannot move the needle on access to higher education. It requires community organizations, health organizations, mental health, housing, food.
We must come together for the quality of life, to have a good quality of life, good opportunities for our kids. It just makes our community better if we all come together and be united.
So the biggest challenge right now in Kitsap County is the lack of affordable housing units and the lack of housing units in general.
So a lot of times when we first meet people, they really are just in a spot where if they don't have food, shelter, and safety, it's really hard for them to be self-sufficient in the other aspects of their life because they're just constantly in survival mode.
We've had people collapsing at our doorstep. We've had people, they're having heart attacks or seizing.
You know, there's a whole group of folks, probably about 60 people, that are cycling in and out of the most costly community resource programs and are overutilizing things like the emergency department, the mental health system, 911 EMS.
All of our clients are high utilizers. It's not that they don't have access to the resources, it's that they've burned through them.
Once when I was in the hospital, both my brother and sister were having a meeting with the doctor, and they both said, well, why doesn't she just go ahead and kill herself? I lost my mother at a young age, and it really stuck in my head that, well, if I kill myself, I'll be with her. I didn't even know who she was, but I noticed a lot of people just, whenever this woman came downstairs, everybody would crowd around her. And one day I went up to her, I was living in my car, and she checked out what I was telling her, and I fit the criteria for their program.
Kitsap Connect's mission is to decrease the severe and persistent suffering of those that are the most vulnerable in our community, and at the same time, we hope to reduce the misuse and the overuse of the costly care systems.
They have done so much for me. I now have my own apartment, which I love.
You can see people's lives improve drastically with sometimes just a little bit of care coordination.
I think the biggest thing for me is the love they give us, they give me.
What I find when people start to develop trust is that they start to listen. And once they trust that life's going to get better, then maybe they'll start taking the meds.
And being able to really be that voice to advocate for that patient just is so satisfying and gratifying. And I actually feel really honored to be able to work with our clients.
How long have you been
homeless?
Yeah, how long have you been homeless, George?
About 8 years.
And what's that like?
Well, you see, I tried to sleep underneath corners, trees, porches.
Do people say, well, why didn't you just find an apartment or something? It's not that easy, huh?
Nope, I'm on the waiting list for senior living. Well, some people 3 years, 5 years, sometimes 8 years.
Tell me what would be the nicest thing about that for you to have secured housing?
A place for my kids to come and visit me. I work for Target, so we have a group of Target people as well as some guys from the Navy. We are building a tiny cottage.
Hey, I'm Tyler Whitener. I'm with Squadron 17 Chief Petty Officer Association, and we're here to help out and build a house.
Our church, Ecclesia Church, and many other churches have actually partnered together to help this movement. It's called Homes for All. It's a committee which Commissioner Greedo of South Kitsap has headed it up so we can help alleviate homelessness in Kitsap County.
Yeah, so Squadron 17 cares just as much about the community as they do about defending freedom. And they all serve in community one way or another.
If there were a community of transitional housing, what kind of neighbor would Heather be?
A very quiet, happy neighbor.
So to be able to come together in one unified location and help out at one day, it really does make a difference.
I've been clean for 14 years now.
I hope that things go well for you and your family. I'm really proud of you. I think you're doing great.
You cry?
I have friends that didn't make it back. They gave up. One door is shut. You have to kind of be diligent. You have to continue to ask for help until you get it. And some people don't make it. I have friends that didn't. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful to God to be here today. I'm grateful for what's happening in this city, and I'm hopeful.
United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in Kitsap County. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, and we fight, because change doesn't happen alone. We have one life. To live better, we must live united.